Holy City Center Radio, it is episode 242, and I am your host, Christian Sanger. Today is Monday, April 8th, 2024. Greetings from Phoenix, Arizona, where the weather has been beautiful, although, hey, Charleston hasn't been too shabby either, except for that little rainy day we had recently. But yes, I am recording this on Sunday in Phoenix. And in honor of this fun trip I'm taking, as I mentioned, to the men's Final Four, and the fact that my UConn Huskies thankfully won the first game against Alabama on Saturday, this episode is going to be a fun one. Just a little bit of a catch-up on some of the more interesting and less bummy politics and, stuff that we sometimes see not dominating the news. It's going to be about, things going on at restaurants and concert announcements. There's been a lot of good stuff going on. And, I'm in a good mood right now, despite being a little tired due to some travel issues, which I'll briefly touch on here in a moment. I wanted a good, fun episode. So that's what we're going to have here. So, yes. After my alma mater made the Final Four, I decided I was going to make the trip to Phoenix. Why the heck not? There's a chance for them to win back-to-back national titles, which hasn't been done by any school since the, I think it was 2005 and 2006 seasons, the Florida Gators. UConn has never done it on the men's side. So, yeah, really excited to do that. Meanwhile, the UConn women's team also made the Final Four. It does not happen a lot when the same school has both their programs there. Sadly, the women did lose to Iowa. It was such a good game. One of the most viewed games in ESPN history. We found out later. And, just a great effort by that team. And the women's championship will have taken place on Sunday. By the time you hear this, the South Carolina Gamecocks looking to go undefeated and win another title, and they will be taking on the Iowa program. Meanwhile, on the men's side, thank goodness UConn won. So when I go to the championship game on Monday, today, when you're listening to this, I'm not watching two teams I don't care about. They'll be taking on Purdue. Should be a really, really good game. So real quick, everything was going so smoothly. There was no delays in my flight. It was a direct flight from Charleston to Phoenix. Got there, a little bit of a delay with the baggage claim where they said it was going to be at one carousel and it was actually at another. So all of us were kind of like, where's our bags? Then we realized they're all on the one next to us. But no big deal, just a slight delay. But what became a nightmare was the whole situation with rental cars. I had reserved one in advance, figured it wouldn't be a big deal. Gigantic lines, no surprise. Phoenix's Sky Harbor Airport is a very big one. So I'm sure they're always busy, but with everybody in town for the Final Four, it was just insane. So I waited in a long line just to speak to a person, and then you go down to the car where the cars are, and then you got to wait in another line as they're like frantically trying to bring cars up to everybody. People are returning cars, so they're trying to clean them and get them ready and then bring them up. It was a nightmare. So instead of going to my hotel, I had to go straight to the arena where the Purdue North Carolina State game was already underway. But, thankfully I got there at halftime, and it was just an incredible experience, being able to see the end of that game, being able to see the UConn game. It's taking place at the State Farm Stadium, which is where the Arizona Cardinals play. So it's gigantic. It's not meant for basketball. So it's a gigantic stadium. Super Bowls have been played there as well. It's just quite the sight to be in this gigantic domed building with all these people. Everyone's excited. There's different fan bases in there. It's just been incredible. It's such a cool experience. I did run into a friend of mine who used to work for a local TV actually a couple local TV stations in Charleston. Ran into her and her fiance, so that was nice to be able to chit chat with them, in between the games and then at halftime of the UConn Alabama game. It was such a fun experience. So having a lot of fun. Did get to the hotel after the game exhausted, so I went to bed way earlier. It was normal time. I probably went to bed in Charleston, but 3 hours behind here in Phoenix, so felt like it was early. Got some sleep and hoping to go do some fun things here in town, and I'll keep you posted on that. So that's been my Phoenix adventure. Thanks for bearing with me while I talk about that, but now let's get into the news. First up, quick reminder, be sure to enter the Holy City Center and MyLo News photo contest. I've mentioned it before. Thousands and thousands of dollars in prizes are up for grabs. It's a combination of cash as well as, restaurant gift certificates, spa certificates, and things like that. So definitely take advantage of that. You don't have to be a professional photographer. It all comes down to votes. So if you have enough friends and family willing to help you out, you could win some prizes. There's a link in the show notes where you can learn more. Speaking of good prizes, although this isn't a prize, it is a freebie. Beautiful South and Kwei, which are sibling restaurants, Kwei on James Island, Beautiful South downtown on Columbus Street, are partnering with a company called Blackbird, and Blackbird's website is blackbird.xyz. Yes, they have one of those fun, newer, where you select the .coms, .edus, and stuff like that. They have one of those newer extensions. But anyway, they're partnering with this company that helps with like loyalty programs and things like that. So to celebrate this new partnership, this week, Wednesday, April 10th, but also the following week on Wednesday, April 17th, you can get some free food from both restaurants. So if you plan it right, you can get free lunch at Beautiful South and free dinner at Kwei. Whether you want to spread that out, do one on the 10th and the 17th or the same day, you can do that. So basically, all diners have to do is make a reservation on Resi, tap in to join the loyalty program when they arrive, and then lunch is provided on Blackbird at Beautiful South. And you can do the exact same thing at Kwei for dinner. Specifically at Kwei, it's the chef special that you would get for dinner. So, as I mentioned, there's a couple caveats. One, reservations are required, and it's for dine-in only. Both the 10th and the 17th, you can take advantage of the lunch special from 11 to 2 at Beautiful South and the dinner special at Kwei from 5 to 9. Link in the show notes has more information for you. Holy City Center has a new partnership, as well as my sibling site, MyLoLowCountry.com. We have partnered with Nicole Farina. You may be familiar with her. She has a Instagram account and a website and a podcast called the Charleston Diaries. She's talking about her life in general, but also specifically kind of like the dating scene here in Charleston. So we've partnered with her for a column that'll come out twice a month on Tuesdays called Single in the Holy City, where she'll detail her own personal experiences with dating in Charleston, the scene here, give some recommendations on good places for dates and things like that. So we've had a couple posts, and there'll be a new one tomorrow on Tuesday as well. She's done a really good job. It's kind of like Sex and the City, but here in Charleston. So excited to partner with her. Again, link in the show notes will bring you to the page where you can see her posts so far. But we're excited to be partnering with her. And, a lot of people are interested in the dating scene in general here in Charleston. So I think it'll be a lot of fun for you to read. Firefly Distillery has announced some concerts in their Live at Firefly series. They have these outdoor concerts in that big field they have at their North Charleston location. They've had some really good acts coming through over the last couple years. They have a really good lineup this year, including T-Pain, Mount Joy, Lake Street Dive, 311, Queens of the Stone Age, Pixies, Modest Mouse. There's a lot of awesome artists will be coming through starting in May. And so, number one, that's the big thing. Great concerts. Go get your tickets now. But number two, they're going to continue their live bourbon bottle series, where they basically make a limited run of single barrel bourbons that are dedicated to each of these shows. So for each of the 11 concerts on their schedules, they will have a specific bourbon that they'll release related to that concert. And then you'll be able to purchase it through the distillery, of course. So each bottle will have a commemorative label featuring the concert artist and date. They'll be available to the public beginning a week ahead of each show from Monday through Saturday. And since the distillery is closed to the public on concert days, that means only ticket holders can purchase these bottles. So it's just a neat opportunity for you to have a special bourbon that's created by Firefly that is specific to perhaps a concert that you attended. So they started this last year. It seemed to be pretty popular, and they're bringing it back this year. So Wragg Square, which is basically a park in downtown Charleston at 342 Meeting Street, just went through a bunch of improvements and reopened, essentially. It's never been completely closed. But so the park has been redone. It's been a project that has been going on with the city. They've updated and replaced some of the dying trees that were there. They've added some flowers and other plants and things like that. And it sounds like they've really done a great job with just making the park look a little bit better after, maybe parts of it have been a little run down over the years. I haven't had a chance to swing by yet, but if you do, go check it out. It sounds like they've made a lot of great improvements, and it'll be a really cool place for, another just public area for people to hang out. The James Beard Foundation last week announced the finalists for their 2024 awards, and 2 Charleston chefs made the cut. There's a first round where they announced, nominees, and there was several Charleston either chefs or restaurants that were in that section, and then they kind of whittled down the list. And so when that was done, they have their list of finalists for each categories, and Charleston ended up with 2 chefs. So Chef Nico Cagalan of Cultura was named a finalist in the emerging chef category, while Chef James London of Chubby Fish is a finalist for Best Chef Southeast. That award is for Kentucky, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, and West Virginia. So congratulations to both of them for being named finalists. Hopefully, both will come back with the actual award, which will be announced later this year. Specifically, it'll be Monday, June 10th. It'll take place in Chicago, and hopefully it'll also be live streamed, by the way, through Eater if you want to watch it. So hopefully we'll come home with a couple of James Beard Awards. And no surprise, these 2 restaurants are consistently ranked among the best in Charleston. Cultura is new and has just had a lot of hype behind it. Chubby Fish has been around a little bit longer, but has consistently been a spot that's mentioned among locals, visitors alike. So congratulations to both chefs, and hopefully they'll each win. Not quite a James Beard Award, but still fun to always be on, magazine lists of the best of this or what have you. And a Charleston watering hole was included in Southern Living's list of the South's most legendary dive bars. It was the Griffin. That's right. The 18 Vendu Range bar was included on the list. So congratulations to them. Again, not quite a James Beard Award, but hey, being named in a big periodical like Southern Living isn't too shabby. I'm sure you're all familiar with the Griffin. It's most famous, of course, for having all the dollar bills, stapled, taped, whatever, all over the walls, where people write notes, their names and all that. So if you haven't been, which I'd be surprised if you have been, if you lived in Charleston, you've probably been to the Griffin, but you haven't, it's a good spot. So go check it out. Shifting gears to the music world, Darius Rucker's Riverfront Revival Festival. For those who don't know, it's that 2-day festival, now in its 3rd year. Over at Riverfront Park in North Charleston, where Darius has a hand in selecting who performs, and he usually performs a solo show on one of the nights. Well, this year, they've done a little bit of a switch because the first 2 years were very much country focused, but they're adding a little bit more variety this year, so it's not just country specifically. And the big news is that Hootie and the Blowfish will be performing on Saturday, October 12th. That's the second day. The first day will be headlined by Tedeschi Trucks Band, which is Friday, October 11th. So some big names coming through. Hootie and the Blowfish will be using this as the conclusion of their of their tour that they will be going on this summer, and this will be the final stop of it. Also on the lineup, the Revivalists, Jamie Johnson, Collective Soul, Arrested Development, believe it or not, Sister Hazel, and several others. So a very cool lineup. Again, not as country heavy as the first 2 years were, so a little bit more variety. So definitely should be fun. Tickets are on sale now. Speaking of festivals, there is a country music festival that's making its debut. It's the Charleston Country Music Festival. It'll be held on April 14th, so that'll be this coming Sunday. It's from 11 to 5 p.m. It'll take place on 2 stages near the Riverfront venue that is the Jenkins Youth and Family Village, which is off Azalea Drive in North Charleston. Performers include Wade Jennings, who is the grandson of Waylon Jennings, and Raylan Nelson, the granddaughter of Willie Nelson. So we've got some country music bloodlines going on at this festival. There's several other people performing, including some locals like Lauren Hall. So it should be a really fun show, especially if you are into country music. There'll also be food available, art, retail vendors, and a family-friendly kids area. And most importantly, proceeds from the event will benefit the Jenkins Orphanage, Wake Up Carolina, and Islands Against Cancer. Switching gears to the comedy realm, Dusty Slay is returning to Charleston to perform at the Gaillard Center. For those who are unfamiliar, Dusty used to live in Charleston, performed locally, and had actually won a couple of awards, including being a two-time winner of the Charleston Comedy Fest. And his career has just taken off. He's had specials on, specifically Netflix had one that just came out recently called Working Man. He's also been on a lot of big name podcasts. He's been on some other, television programs as well. So his career has really taken off, and he's finally coming back to Charleston to perform. It'll be October 5th at the Gaillard Center. Tickets are on sale now. And lastly, the 53rd annual Charleston Greek Festival has been announced. They are coming back in May, specifically the 10th through the 12th at the Greek Orthodox Church of the Holy Trinity. This is a really fun event every year. It's the longest running festival in Charleston. It dates back to 1970. Brings over 35,000 attendees each year. And they say that they're the third largest festival in the Low Country, so it's a pretty big deal. It's inexpensive as well to attend. General admission is just $5. Seniors and students are $3, while children 10 and under and veterans are all free. All sorts of stuff to do. It's a celebration of Greek culture, so obviously there's going to be a lot of Greek cuisine, traditional music, some dancing, and much more. Link in the show notes. We'll get you over to get some more details, and you can see what else they offer. It also includes tours of the church, and there's several other things going on, but it's a big event each year, as I mentioned, that draws a lot of people, and it's pretty popular. So that'll do it for this edition of Holy City Center Radio. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you had a great weekend and have an awesome week ahead. I will be checking in again on Wednesday. Go Huskies. Until then, good night and good luck.